Single mothers raise broken children. It's just statistics. My sister Pamela said it loud enough for everyone at the reunion to hear. She was standing by the buffet table, holding a glass of Chardonnay like a scepter, surrounded by aunts and cousins who nodded along like she was delivering a TED Talk instead of casual cruelty. She didn't look at me when she said it. She didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. My twins were sitting at the picnic table 15 feet away. They were 17 years old, 3 months from high school graduation, and they heard every word. I watched my daughter Jasmine's face fall. I watched my son Marcus set down his fork and stare at his plate. 17 years of being told they weren't enough, that our family was deficient, that their mother's divorce had somehow broken them by default. I had spent their entire lives protecting them from Pamela's judgment. But in that moment, watching their faces, something inside me finally snapped. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. My name is Denise Holloway. I'm 44 years old, and I've been a single mother since my twins were 2. Their father, Kevin, left us for his secretary. It's a cliché so tired it's almost embarrassing to say out loud, but that's what happened. One day I had a husband and a house in the suburbs and a future that looked like a greeting card. The next day I had divorce papers, a custody agreement, and a sister who couldn't wait to tell me she'd seen it coming. "You work too much," Pamela said at the time, as if my career in hospital administration was the reason Kevin couldn't keep his pants on. Men need attention, Denise. You were never home. I was never home because I was working 60 hours a week to pay for the house Kevin wanted, the car Kevin wanted, the lifestyle Kevin demanded while contributing nothing but excuses. But that didn't matter to Pamela. What mattered was that I had failed. I had failed at marriage, and therefore I had failed at everything. Pamela had married, well, her word, not mine. Her husband Gerald was a corporate attorney with a corner office and a country club membership. They had a big house in the right neighborhood, 2 luxury cars, and a son named Hunter who had been described as troubled since middle school. But because Pamela had a husband and a joint checking account, she was the success story. I was the cautionary tale. For 15 years, I had ignored her comments. I had smiled through Thanksgiving dinners where she talked about intact families and traditional values. I had bitten my tongue at Christmas gatherings where she suggested my children might need extra support because of their circumstances. I had let her believe whatever she needed to believe about me and my kids because fighting with Pamela was exhausting, and I had more important things to focus on, like raising 2 extraordinary human beings. Jasmine had a 4.3 GPA, was captain of the debate team, and had founded a nonprofit tutoring program for kids in foster care. Marcus was a National Merit Scholar, first chair violin in the state orchestra, and had been recruited by MIT's robotics program since his sophomore year. They volunteered at the hospital where I worked every summer. They held part-time jobs to contribute to their college funds, even though I told them they didn't have to. They were kind, disciplined, ambitious, and humble. They were not broken. They never had been. 2 weeks before the reunion, we had received the news. Jasmine was accepted to Harvard with a full academic scholarship. Marcus was accepted to MIT with a full ride for their engineering program. Combined, that was over $600,000 in scholarships. My children, the ones Pamela had spent their whole lives pitying, had achieved something her money couldn't buy. I had planned to announce it at the reunion. I had imagined a nice moment, maybe after dinner, where I could share the good news and let the kids be celebrated by the family. But Pamela's comment changed everything. I pulled out my phone. My father had set up a projector for the reunion slideshow, decades of family photos that would cycle through during the party. The projector was connected to a wireless network. I knew the password because I had helped him set it up the night before. "Denise," my mother looked at me with concern. "What are you doing?" "Just sharing some statistics," I said. I connected to the projector and cast my screen. The slideshow of family photos disappeared. In its place was Jasmine's acceptance letter from Harvard. The crimson letterhead filled the screen. "Dear Ms. Holloway, it is with great pleasure that we inform you of your admission to Harvard College, class of 2028. The yard went quiet. Aunts stopped mid-conversation. Cousins looked up from their phones. My father set down his beer. I swiped to the next image. Marcus's acceptance letter from MIT. "Dear Mr. Holloway, the admissions committee has completed its review of your application and voted to offer you admission to the MIT class of 2028. Gasps. Actual gasps from people who had spent years offering my children sympathetic smiles and lowered expectations. I swiped again. The scholarship letters. Full ride for Jasmine. Full ride for Marcus. $312,000 each. Every dollar earned through their own hard work, their own achievements, their own brilliance. These are my broken children, I said, my voice carrying across the yard. The ones who were statistically doomed by their single mother. Harvard and MIT. Full scholarships. Zero broken. Pamela's face had gone white. She set down her wine glass. Denise, this isn't. I'm not done. I swiped one more time. Hunter's arrest record appeared on the screen. DUI at 19. Possession at 20. Assault at 22. He had gotten into a bar fight and broken someone's jaw. Probation violation. Another DUI. The mugshots. The court dates. The public record that anyone could access with a simple search, but that the family had collectively agreed to ignore. And this, I said, is what an intact family with a father in the home produced. Your son, Pamela. The one with every advantage. The one with the country club membership and the private school education and two parents under the same roof. Pamela lunged for my phone. She actually lunged, knocking over a folding chair as she scrambled across the yard. Turn it off. Turn it off right now. My father was on his feet. Denise, turn it off. This is a family reunion, not a courtroom. But I didn't turn it off. And everyone had already seen. Pamela grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. How dare you? How dare you humiliate my son in front of everyone? How dare I? I pulled my arm away. You have spent 15 years humiliating my children. At every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering. You have called them broken. You have called them statistics. You have looked at them with pity like they were damaged goods because their father was a cheater and I had the self-respect to leave him. I pointed at the screen, where Hunter's mugshot was still displayed. Your son has been arrested 4 times. My children have been accepted to 2 of the best universities in the world. So tell me, Pamela, what do your statistics say now? The yard was silent. 50 family members stood frozen, drinks in hand, watching 2 sisters face off over a lifetime of grievances. You're cruel, Pamela whispered. Tears were streaming down her face. You're cruel and vindictive, and this is why nobody likes you. Maybe, I said. But my children know they're loved. My children know they're valued. My children know that their worth isn't determined by their family structure or their mother's marital status. Can Hunter say the same? My mother stepped between us. Her face was torn between horror and something else, something that looked almost like understanding. Both of you stop. This is not the place. You're right, Mom, I said. This isn't the place. But apparently Pamela thought it was the place to call my children broken, so I thought it was the place to show everyone the truth. I turned to look at Jasmine and Marcus. They were still sitting at the picnic table, watching. Jasmine's eyes were wet, but she was smiling. Marcus gave me a small nod. The same nod he gave before every competition, every performance, every challenge he was about to conquer. Come on, kids, I said. We're leaving. We walked through the yard, past the silent relatives, past the projector still displaying Hunter's record, past Pamela, who was sobbing into Gerald's shoulder. We got in the car and drove away from my parents' house, away from the reunion, away from 15 years of biting my tongue. We were halfway home when Jasmine spoke from the back seat. Mom. Yeah, baby? That was the most savage thing I've ever seen. Marcus laughed. Then Jasmine laughed. Then I was laughing too, the 3 of us laughing until tears streamed down our faces, releasing years of tension and hurt and quiet endurance. I probably shouldn't have done the arrest record, I admitted. No, Marcus said. You definitely should have. She's been calling us broken our whole lives. She needed to see what broken actually looks like. You're not broken, I said, my voice suddenly serious. You never were. Not for a single second. We know, Mom, Jasmine said softly. You made sure we knew. The fallout was significant. Pamela didn't speak to me for 6 months. My parents tried to mediate, but I told them I had nothing to apologize for. Some cousins reached out to say they thought I had gone too far. Others reached out to say they had been waiting years for someone to put Pamela in her place. Hunter, I heard, finally went to rehab after the reunion. Gerald paid for a private facility in Arizona. He's been sober for 8 months now. I hope he stays that way. Despite everything, he's still my nephew, and I don't wish him harm. I just wish his mother had focused on helping him instead of judging me. Pamela eventually reached out, It wasn't an apology exactly. Pamela doesn't do apologies, but it was an acknowledgement. She said she had been projecting her own fears onto my children. She said Hunter's struggles had made her desperate to believe that parenting structure mattered more than anything else, because if structure was the answer, then she couldn't be blamed for his failures. I understood that, actually. Fear makes people cruel. Fear makes people point fingers at others so they don't have to examine themselves. Pamela spent 15 years attacking my family because she was terrified of what was happening in her own. I told her I forgave her. I meant it. Holding on to anger is exhausting, and I had more important things to focus on. Like watching my daughter move into her Harvard dorm last September. Like helping my son set up his robotics lab at MIT. Like standing in the audience at Parents' Weekend, surrounded by other families, knowing that my family was complete and whole and unbroken despite everything the world said about us. I'm sitting on my couch now, in the small house I bought with my own money after the divorce. The walls are covered with photos of my kids. First days of school, science fair victories, debate trophies, graduation caps thrown in the air. Every picture is evidence. Evidence that single mothers don't raise broken children. Single mothers raise children. And some of those children go to Harvard and MIT. Structure doesn't make a family. Love does. Presence does. Showing up every single day and doing the hard work of raising decent human beings. That's what makes a family. Pamela had the structure. I had the love. The statistics speak for themselves. If you've ever been underestimated because of your circumstances, hit that like button and share this story. And remember, the people who judge you today might be asking for your advice tomorrow.